All right, Zen hailing back here. Still reading Light on Yoga again. Love this book. So I'm going to basically just go to a passage here. And, when I'm talking about yoga, I'm more focused on the 8 limbs contained within yoga. Just get oriented here, my pages. So I'm just going to cut a little bit to the setup of the 8 limbs, and in particular the yamas. And within the yamas, there's controlling of the mind. And I'm going to start with the mind is the king of the senses. One who has conquered his mind, senses, passions, thought, and reason is king among men. He is fit for Raja Yoga, the royal union with the universal spirit. He is inner light. So then we'll skip down here. It's not so... As a mountaineer needs ladders, ropes, and crampons, as well as physical fitness and discipline to climb the icy peaks of the Himalayas, so does the yogi aspirant need the knowledge and discipline of the Hatha Yoga of Swamitara to reach the heights of Raja Yoga dealt with by Pantanjjali. So that's why they're saying they can both coexist. But anyway, within there is the Chitta Vritti. So the Chitta Vritti is basically the causes for all the modifications of the mind. So it's like, everybody says, control the mind, meditation, and control your negative thoughts and all that. But, Pantanjali in the Yoga Sutras really breaks it down. He breaks it down to list 5 classes of Chitta Vritti, which create pleasure and pain. And they are pramana, and it's a standard or an idea by which things or values are measured by the mind or known, which men accept upon, and they'll say A, direct evidence such as perception, or B, interference, C, testimony or the word of an acceptable authority when the source of knowledge has been checked as reliable and trustworthy. And then there's the second one, which is Viparya, which is a mistaken view which is observed to be such after study. So they describe this as a faulty medical diagnosis based on wrong hypothesis, or the formerly held theory in astronomy that the sun rotates around the earth, as example of Viparya. And then there's number 3, one of the other Chitta Vrittis is Vikalpa, and that is fancy or imagination, resisting merely on verbal expression without any factual basis. And boy, we see this a lot, today. A beggar may feel happy when he imagines himself spending millions, and a rich miser, on the other hand, may starve himself in the belief that he is poor. Interesting. And then there's Nidra. So everybody knows about Yoga Nidra, and that's sleep. And that's where there is the abundance of ideas and experiences. When a man is sleeping soundly, he does not recall his name, family, or status, his knowledge or wisdom, or even his own existence. When a man forgets himself in sleep, he wakes up refreshed. But if a disturbing thought creeps in his mind when he is dropping off, he will not rest properly. So that's why it's like, check your thoughts before you go to bed, say your prayers, do your meditation, whatever you need to do to get right. Get off Netflix, probably. Okay, number 5 of controlling the mind is smriti. And that's the memory, the holding fast of the impressions or objects that one has experienced. And that's with a lot of us. And these are people who live in their past experiences, even through the past is beyond recall. Even though the past is beyond recall. Their sad or happy memories keep them chained in the past, and they cannot break their fetters. And Pantanjali enumerates 5 causes of Chitta Vritti causing pain, which is called klesa. And that's avida, or ignorance or nescience. And then there's asmita, which is the feeling of individuality which limits a person and distinguishes him from a group, which may be a physical, mental, intellectual, or emotional one. And then there's raga, which is attachment or passion. And then there's Dvesa, D-V-E-S-A, aversion or revulsion. And then number 5 is Abhinasva, which is love or thirst for life, the instinctive clinging to worldly life and bodily enjoyment, and the fear that one may be cut off from all this by death. Everybody's fear of death, right? This causes pain, remains submerged in the mind of the sadhaka, which is the aspirant or the seeker. They are like icebergs barging, showing their heads in the polar sea. So as long as they are not studiously controlled or contracted, there can be no peace. The yogi learns to forget the past and take no thought for his morrow. He lives in the eternal present. As the breeze ruffles the surface of the lake and distorts the images reflected therein, so also the Chitta Vritti disturb the peace of the mind. The still waters of the lake reflect the beauty around. When the mind is still, the beauty of the self is seen reflected in it. The yogi stills his mind by constantly studying and freeing himself from desires. Now, the 8 stages of yoga teach him the way. And then it gets into Chitta Vikespa, which is distractions and obstacles. And then these obstacles hinder the aspirant's practice of yoga. And they are sickness, which disturbs the physical equilibrium. And then languor, which is lack of mental disposition for their work. It's apathy. And samsaya, which is doubt or indecision. Pramada, which is indifference or insensibility. Alasna, which is laziness. Avareta, which is sensuality, the rousing of desire when sensory objects possess the mind. So that's kind of when we don't get our material stuff in check, or brahmacharya, or sexual desires for yogis, brahmacharya. And then there's Brahma Darsana, which is the false or invalid knowledge or illusion. And then another one is failure to attain continuity of thought or concentration so that reality cannot be seen. And then another one, that's with all distractions in the world today and all that, so we can't see reality, right? And then number 9 is instability and holding on to concentrations which have been attained for long practice. So, and everybody, yogis, we know this. It's that continuous, it's the 8 limbs. It's the combination of the asana and then the pranayama, the pratyahara, the dharana, the dhyana, that then maybe we can achieve some sort of samadhi or bliss or control over the senses so we can be closer to what they say. Just like this Bible or even the Bible, getting closer to God. So anyway, I just wanted to share that, a little bit of those couple pages. It's dark in here. I need to put on more lights so I can see better and get some better glasses too. All right, guys, have a great day. Breathe well, stay flexible, keep healing, keep growing.